a dual video. I'm seeing you twice.
You guys, we're back. I see the double connections. Maybe you guys see it. Brian, Javon, it's been a minute since all three of us have been back together. So it's good to have the whole team together and 2 shows. I'm definitely going to try to make Friday because there's a lot of things. I've been just Twitter fingers texting you guys a bunch of stuff that's going on in the chat, but there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in sports. Today, we're going to focus straight on the NFL and all the moves that's been made in the NFL. What's going on, fellas?
I'm feeling good.
What's good?
Unc felt like he was back in the production room before we went on and talked about he sees the 2 screen. Real quick.
Who's my TD?
Look. The one you see on the left is what the people that's watching on their phone see, and the one you see on the right is the horizontal outlook. Yeah, man. That's funny.
Just getting fancy with it, man. My fault. It's 2026. All right.
Oh man. Hey, you got to upgrade in 26.
Yeah, I'm
man.
Unc for a reason. I'm really being Unc.
Yeah, you definitely got to upgrade it. All right, fellas.
Hold on, Sean. Before you go, Unc, at least you know how to work this. You want to talk about Unc status? You've been around the family for a good little while. You remember our cousin Cheese?
Yes, sir.
Yo, we had to teach him how to copy and paste the text message at Christmas.
Oh, man.
Now that's funny.
How old is he?
Cheese has got to be early 50s. It was me and his 2 daughters teaching him how to copy and paste. That was fun.
Nah, he's too young. He needs to know how to.
He told him like, you can't be out here embarrassing us not knowing how to copy and paste. Because when you that age and you don't know how to do
pretty
that
funny.
Simple, they blame the ones that's our age for not teaching you. Yeah.
He needs to learn that. That's basic.
I've got 70-year. Let me put it in perspective. I got 70-year-old aunts that know how to send gifts.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So if he can't copy and paste, he's missed a whole era of information. That's a good way to start the show, man.
That's good. All right, let's talk about you guys' team. I feel like I'm adopted from that place because we talk so much about Baltimore. All right, so the Ravens finally moved on from John Harbaugh. When I saw it, we'll go on the ticker. I was like, man, Javon is happy. Must be the happiest day of his life. What's you guys' thoughts? Javon, you can start off. Brian, you go next. I'll go last on the Ravens moving on. Who should be the guy for the job? Things of that nature.
Let me be honest with y'all. When that notification came across my screen last Tuesday night, first of all, I didn't even see the notification first. My boy Kyle Gauss that I used to work with at Rivals texted the group chat. Like, oh man, I know Javon is through the roof right now. I said, oh, that can only mean one thing. Next thing I know, the Shefty notification pops up. John Harbaugh fired after 18 years. When I tell you I had a testimony, oh boy, you thought this was a devotional part of church service, man. Oh man, I just can't tell you how good my God is. Oh man, this man has been tormenting me in my hometown since 2017. That should have been his last season in Baltimore. So my fault. He's really been tormenting us since 2015, and he made it this long. I was so happy to see that this wasn't a DeCosta decision. This wasn't an Ozzie Newsome decision. This was Steve Bisciotti saying, this is my franchise, my investment. I'm not letting this go down the hill. This guy's got to go. And I was not surprised at all when I read the inside the day John Harbaugh was fired stories. And all you're seeing is, this man, Eric DeCosta, was in tears because he had to fire his best friend and boom, boom, boom. He's part of the problem too, waiting on him to be gone. And I hope he heard the shots that Bisciotti was taking at him yesterday too. Because he didn't think it was just, the coaching staff underachieved and failed to develop our players, especially on the O-line. I would have pointed at Odafe Oweh in the D-line also, because that dude went to the Chargers and just became the best thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, the Ravens can't get a pass rush to save their lives. They can have 7-on-4 and still won't get to the quarterback. But that's a different topic for a different conversation. No, he said the scouting department needs a look too, because we're just not cutting it. I loved everything I heard from Steve Bisciotti. What if Tyler Luke would have made the kick? Would Harbaugh still be head coach? For a week. I love what I heard. Hey, if we're going to do what we want to do in free agency, we need Lamar to get this deal done before the start of free agency. He's more than welcome to be part of these interviews. I told him he can fly up with me on my private jet from Florida because I know he stays down there too. Yeah, so Lamar, do you want to win? I mean, they can get a LeBron treatment. And we're about to really see if Mr. I can't be bothered to show up to OTAs and can't return a phone call in the offseason, really cares about winning. I love this. And then even though he said Lamar will have input and I'm going to get feedback from the rest of the team, this is still my team. I have the power. The final say belongs to me. That was the best press conference I've seen in years. It wasn't just talk. It had substance to it. I believe everything he said. And Harbaugh, he'll probably go somewhere and build up their culture. He'll probably make the Falcons win that division every year. That's where I'd go if I were him. I'm not going to go to the Giants and have to deal with the Eagles, right? I'm just never going to have as much talent as them because Howie Roseman knows what he's doing. I will go to the Falcons that's got it tailor-made and go win that sorry division every year.
So Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, so much to unpack with this, but there was the loudest roar that I heard all the way in Charlotte, North Carolina, coming from Baltimore, Maryland, I'm sure, because like Javon and many fans, I too was ecstatic to hear that we were no longer under the thumbprint of John Harbaugh. Now, as quickly as I say that, let me give my humanity and put my humanity in place. I have heard countless stories of the wonderful man that John Harbaugh is, and I respect him as a man. He's a man of great faith and character, and that's all good and dandy. But from the business of football, he has been awful in the last few years. Personally, I'll say it this way. I was never a fan of John Harbaugh as a coach. The reality is he won a Super Bowl, which they always marvel about. He won a Super Bowl with a team that was really designed and created by Brian Billick. He got the remnants, and he was fortunate because it was Ray Lewis and Ed Reed's last year. There was no way in hell Ray Lewis was going to let that team not win the Super Bowl. So got on a heater in the playoffs and an unprecedented historic ride. And so they were destined. So if you want to give Harbaugh credit for that, go ahead. I won't. He was.
Your service is a little bit.
So Lamar Jackson.
Your service going, and then you're lagging behind, like your service.
Oh, okay. Is it better now? Yeah, it seems to be better now, right?
It's better now. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. And so it wasn't until Lamar Jackson got on his MVP climb and ascent that Harbaugh's career got saved. So to the point Vaughn made, we were almost done with Harbaugh a few years ago, if not for Lamar being great. So I'm not bothered that he's no longer here. What's next is the bigger question, though. What's next? Because you got to bring in a coach who knows O's, can time manage. That was the biggest fault I had with John Harbaugh. So many opportunities to win ball games ruined because he had no clue. He had no clue how to be the authority figure, let his OC make bets like not running Derrick Henry when he's on pace to run for 300 in the game, and suddenly we just stop running him. Those kinds of decisions. So, again, you got to bring in the right guy. Who is that right guy?
Yeah, it seems like Unc's breaking up. Yeah. So, Sean, you know many of the complaints that he had we've talked about them on this show for Lord knows how long. From your perspective, what did you see? Because I think from an outsider looking in,
Yeah.
that's very valuable perspective.
So I look at it this way. Again, I grew up in Boston, so I saw the New England reign. It's the Harbaugh, Belichick, and Tomlin all kind of in the same group, same era. If Bill can be let go with 6 of those rings, it's not a big deal. Like I never, maybe because Belichick's personality and people don't like him around the league or TV or whatever. It wasn't this big of. It's like this, like someone. It feels like people think someone like died or something like that. It's like no, if Bill got gone, you guys can go too.
John, let's really talk about this. We want to see how much you really pay attention and how much chemistry you have on this show. That's always your analogy when somebody that's been around a long time gets fired. What's mine?
About like what, like your whole thing with Harbaugh was like what did he specialize in? He didn't specialize.
No. I'm saying you said if Belichick can be fired, anybody can, right?
Yep.
Who do I replace in that sentence?
Damn, I can't remember who.
Oh, come on, Sean. Pat Riley. If the Lakers could get rid of Pat Riley.
Oh yeah. You just said that after all the championships, yeah.
If Magic Johnson and Byron Scott can get tired of Pat Riley's voice after all he did for the Lakers, and New England can move on from Bill Belichick, like you said, those two are far more accomplished than a John Harbaugh ever was.
Exactly.
Come on, man. And that's before I get into the special teams coordinator hasn't won it since he won it. And like I'm pointed to, that was not a Harbaugh locker room. They had to revolt against him to win that Super Bowl. Like, had we forgotten Ed Reed was the king of putting John Harbaugh in his place? And the Ravens have not had a locker room like that since. They had maybe one last year of one. That 2014, when they lost to the Patriots in the divisional off that Julian Edelman throw. I thought that team was better than the Super Bowl team, to be honest with you. Gary Kubiak was the best offensive coordinator the Ravens had ever had. That defense was better than the 2012 defense. I'll be honest with you. The 2012 defense, very overrated in Ravens fans' eyes. Just off of hindsight, people overrate that defense. The 11 defense was better, and the 14 defense was better. He had one last locker room like that 2012 team. That was 14 when you had Steve Smith leading the offense and Daryl Smith leading the defense. Harbaugh has had a character like that since, except Marcus Peters. And Marcus Peters didn't last in Baltimore long at all. He wanted a team that was soft, and they went out there and played like it. That team no longer knew what it meant, as Rex Ryan always says, no longer knew what it meant to play like a Raven. Because the head coach didn't know what it meant to play like a Raven. That guy should have been gone in 2017. They gave him an extra year. Who knows why? And even in the middle of that year, they had already announced they're going to part ways at the end of the season until Lamar Jackson comes in and wins the division in a terrible year of the North. And all of a sudden, Harbaugh gets extended. What did he do? Flacco's the one who got hurt. Lamar Jackson's the one who put the team on his back. The other man got paid off the work of the brother man. And he's been holding the franchise hostage since. It just has been a long time coming.
Hostage.
Point blank, period.
So I think, who do you guys, because I'm going to let you guys handle the whole backstory because you guys know the Ravens more than me, but who do you guys think should be the guys? I see some of the candidates. I was reading an article last night. Flores, McDaniels, Saleh, Kubiak, Weaver, Nagy, Joseph, Stefanski, Davis Webb, the Broncos quarterback coach, and Joe Brady. Who would be the guy?
I'll let you go because I got thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that they're sharing via social media their interviewing process, and it looks like they're immediately going at it, trying to get considerations in place. I think I was getting disconnected, but in my wrap up, I was saying I like Saleh as an option. I like Brian Flores as an option. I really want Marcus Freeman. However, I'm not sure that he's really going to be available or on our radar. But that would be my splash. Go get a young college coach who's hungry, can bring in a new perspective. So that's one side of the coin from a football standpoint. You know, if we go that, but if the decision is to go culture wise, then maybe you got to go with a Salah.
John, who we got? We're having some technical difficulty. Javon, I can't hear you. Not sure.
I had mine muted.
Okay.
So with Salah, I'm a little I'm on the fence. I'm leaning more towards no on him from the standpoint of he runs the 4-3. So if the Ravens don't have the guys that just win up front. If you're running the 4-3, you're thinking of San Francisco that has a Nick Bosa, right? You're thinking of Cleveland that has a Myles Garrett. He is very much I don't need the blitz. I'm going to get home with 4, and I've got a Fred Warner leading two other linebackers to clean me up. That's not the Ravens roster right now. So you get Robert Saleh, you're going to have to do a lot of reworking your defense in the offseason, which I don't think you're going to have the cap.
I think that's necessary anyway.
It's a lot of movement for it's going to have to be spread out through 2 years if you do that. I lean closer to, if you're going to get an offensive guy, Clint Kubiak. Like I said, his dad was the best offensive coordinator the Ravens ever had, and when he left, the Ravens had a chance to bring Kyle Shanahan in and passed on it, and they have not had a West Coast coach since. So Clint Kubiak, I do. If Kevin Stefanski didn't hire Shedeur Sanders as immaturely as he did, I would have said him, but no. So Kubiak, Brian Flores, because he epitomizes what a Baltimore defense is, number one. But number two, he is the kick in the ass that Lamar Jackson needs. We know how he dealt with Tua Tagovailoa down in Miami, and Tagovailoa just lost his job this year. His career as a starter is probably done. Lamar Jackson needs a head coach that's going to hold him accountable the way Flores held Tagovailoa accountable. And then Jesse Minter. If you're looking for your closest thing since Mike McDonald, Jesse Minter can be that. And by the way, that game Sunday night, speaking of Minter, that was some of the worst football. And I mean, that was the worst playoff game I've seen since the Titans put it on the Ravens. I mean, that was just disgusting, man. I mean, I've seen the Steelers lose some games. That's my fault. Yeah, the Steelers Monday night took the key. But before the Steelers Monday night, Sunday night was the worst playoff game I've seen. Matter of fact, that was the worst I've seen from two teams in one game in a long time. That was awful. But Minter, Flores, or Kubiak, and I can accept Mike McDaniel as offense.
I agree with you on that.
I can accept that.
I think Bisciotti dropped some clues during that press conference yesterday about the guys who had previous head coaching jobs, who were hot candidates, who were losing records. So when I heard that, my mind went to Flores, Salah, and Vance Joseph. I don't think
no.
I don't think Vance gets the job, and Matt Nagy. But those are the guys that came to my mind. Yeah, but I think Flores, he looks like a Baltimore Raven. It feels like a Baltimore Raven. You know what I mean? Like, and what he needs to bring, because I think his indictment was he didn't have a great offensive coordinator in Miami. Like, I think he bring Chan Gailey in, and he fired one guy after. He didn't have a good offensive coordinator. He needs to bring someone from Minnesota, from that KOC system that they run in Minnesota, to be the offensive coordinator in Baltimore. That would be a mandate for me from the Ravens, because I didn't like his offensive coordinator choices in Miami. And again, his relationship with Tua, it is what it is. Tua is soft, so it didn't work for him. But he needs to find an offensive coordinator. I like Salah in this aspect. Again, who his offense coordinator is going to be. I would not bring Mike McDaniel as a head coach. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't I think you got to match the city that you work in sometimes. The feel, the culture.
Yeah.
McDaniel does not feel like a Baltimore Raven. Like I would go with Anthony Weaver as a first-time guy, or go with Jesse Minter as a first-time guy over bringing Mike McDaniel there. I just would. I just don't have any connection to Mike McDaniel. But this job is the best job. Stefanski would make the most sense because he's the most proven guy, but he did a lot with less in a tough division, so I give him credit for that. But I just don't see him as a Baltimore. If I was him, you said Harbaugh, I think the Atlanta job is the best job besides the Ravens job. That's the job I want. In the NFC South, you a quarterback away from dominating that division. I don't believe in Penix and Cousins, so that would be my apprehension of taking that job. I'd rather Jackson Dart looks way better than those two guys to me, but I think you can go get a quarterback, and Atlanta's right there to win.
I will say this though: whoever takes that Atlanta job needs to go to the new GM and actually no, did they keep Fontenot or did they let him go?
They fired him.
Yeah. Go to the new GM and say, hey.
Yeah, let him go first, actually.
Yeah, before we do anything in this offseason, the first priority needs to be bringing Kyle Pitts back. The dude made All-Pro this year. Finally, was in an offense that utilized him properly. That needs to be the first thing. Because if you're not going to get a quarterback anytime soon, then you need to surround him with weapons. And Pitts in London, that's one of the best wide receiver tight end duos in the NFL.
I gotta say this though, because I live in Atlanta right now. I thought and we'll talk about Tomlin.
No question.
But when I saw Tomlin getting fired, I automatically thought of Atlanta as a possible destination, and we'll get into him in a second.
Whoever he goes to has to trade for him because he actually voluntarily stepped down, which I don't know how much of that I'm buying, to be honest with you. The reports are he just got fed up with being underappreciated in Pittsburgh. What do you mean underappreciated? Because I said Harbaugh should have been gone after 2017. I got news for y'all. Tomlin should have been gone after 2014. His resume, y'all can do all that. Oh, what did the Steelers give him crap? Nah, man. Let's go look at this. His first year, wild card exit. Second year, won the Super Bowl. The year after that, missed the playoffs. The year after that, lost the Super Bowl. The year after that, this is where it gets bad. Lost the wild card, missed the playoffs, lost the wild card. After that 4-year stretch in Pittsburgh, of all places, why are you still around? And he stayed around for another 11 years. That's bad. That is awful. He should have been gone after the 14 season.
I have to say this. I got to be honest about the Steelers organization, the Ravens organization. Everybody raves about this consistency. They don't switch coaches, blah, blah, blah. No. What is it? Again, if Bill Belichick was winning, and he was winning Super Bowls. He was going to Super Bowls. That makes sense to me. But that just having consistency, just to say the status quo, it doesn't make sense. And I don't know why on TV I'm hearing like, well, they haven't had a coach. Who cares? How many Super Bowls have you gotten? That's the key. How many Super Bowls have you gone to? Like, come on. Like, I just think that's a little bit overblown that people just this model consistency.
More than a little bit.
Yeah, it's come on. What have you done? Yo, we've been saying this. We love black coaches. Me and John have been saying this right before we got onto the show. But Thomas should have been gone. I didn't say it as early as that. Should have been gone for the last 4 or 5 years. Like when Big Ben left and it was decline, and you guys couldn't hit on finding your quarterback, and you guys kept doing this merry-go-round with quarterbacks. That should have been a sign for the Pittsburgh organization and team and Tomlin. Hey, let's go into a different direction because that side, especially when the defense started collapsing, we're not that team. We need a new identity, and that's why I think Pittsburgh has messed up. And I said in the chat, all right, whoever wants to be the coach. Even the GM needs to go. Can they be these organizations like Indiana Pacers, the Steelers? They don't believe in rebuilding, but at some point you're gonna have to come down. Look at New England. You come down, you rebuild, and you go back up. It could be done. It doesn't have to be a 20-year process. It could be done. Pittsburgh needs to rebuild. Thomas should have been gone.
Look at the Warriors in the NBA.
Yes.
Stephen Clay got hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they need to really rebuild now.
They're past the hill now.
What we're going to talk about with them either tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah. It's time. It's like
all this.
They're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Exactly.
All this consistency thing, which is dumb to me, it tells me you're afraid of change. That tells me you don't care about winning. You're afraid of change. You don't care about stability.
Right.
No, you are just afraid of change. It's that simple. Because you missed out on some great coaches in these cycles. Great coaches.
Listen,
Great coaches.
Mike McDonald was in your building. He was in your building. He's in your building.
So
Like
sad.
You got to look at it. Carl Spain, and at that time, Harbaugh was on the fringe, right? After that AFC Championship came to the Chiefs, I would have been like, "Yo, this doesn't make sense." Definitely after last year too. But you had McDonald, who's a great in your building, and we all look at him as he's going to be one of the ones. He reminds me of like I'm not saying he's going to be that successful, a young Belichick type of guy. He could be there for a long time. You let him out the building. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Simple as that.
I'm be honest with you, the Ravens didn't need so much in the draft. I'd offer a first round pick to Seattle for them. See if they bite. Hell, I might offer two. But yeah, with the Steelers, that franchise is about to undergo a complete makeover. Rodgers isn't going to be there. Tomlin's gone. DK is probably going to ask for a trade because what do you have around him? And who is going to be your quarterback next year? I mean, it's going to be a real rebuild that the Steelers need. And here's my takeaway from both him and Harbaugh being gone. Fellas, who had the worst, and I mean by far the worst head coach in the division these last few years?
Zach Taylor.
The Bengals had the worst head coach in the division. And they are the only ones running it back next year.
Dumb. They're dumb.
Oh, Lord have mercy. That is off. Yo,
Mike
speaks volumes. Speaks volumes.
Speaks volumes. I checked on him yesterday. Like, you good, bro? Like, that's you know how bad you gotta be to surpass Cleveland as the worst front office operation in sport. I mean, in the NFL. It's bad, man.
It's malpractice that they're running it back with the same when everybody else is switching up in that division. It's malpractice. They're not doing. If I'm Joe Burrow, I'm in Miami. I'm seeing this on my ticker. I'm like, nah, this ain't making it. This ain't making sense.
But hold on. Same time, I don't want to hear from Joe because he's part of the problem. Oh man, we need a defense and an O line. I'm gonna tell them to draft Jamar Chase and pay T. Higgins to keep us from being able to get anything else. And now we're going to lose Trey Henderson for nothing in the offseason. And the defense is going to be even worse because we've already had to let Jesse Bates go for nothing a couple years ago to go to the Falcons. And I can't stay healthy worth a damn. So I don't want to hear anything from Joe Burrow either.
Good point. I can't disagree.
It's a mess from top to bottom in Cincinnati. The Brown family. Hey, Sean, remember I used to say this about
the whole division suffers.
I used to say this about WWE. I say it about the Cowboys. I used to say it about the Orioles. I'm going to add Cincinnati in there now. Ain't nothing going to save that franchise but God. What do I mean? The Cowboys ain't going to contend again until Jerry Jones gets called on home. Peter Angelo, boom. Vince didn't get called home, but he got sent home. I ain't going to dive into that. It's the same thing with the Browns right now. The Brown family, excuse me. Yeah. Ain't nothing going to change in Cincinnati until some divine intervention happens. And I'm being so serious. It's ridiculous. That was more respect to Steve Bisciotti right there. I'm not going to let my family hold this franchise hostage. He said, I see Jerry talking about what body part he would give up for another ring at 83 years old. And that ain't going to be me. I respect that. The Lakers, the same way right now, held hostage by the Buss family, who swears they are the Lakers. No, there was the Lakers before the Buss family, and there will be the Lakers after the Buss family. So I'm glad Dodgers on the ship. It's taking over.
Yeah. Ryan, you got anything?
By the way, Peter Angelo ceased.
You say it again?
Peter Angelo says this, by the way. I said Peter Angelo is deceased, by the way. So it was.
But real quick,
that was the out for the Orioles.
You see what I mean?
But
who do you guys think for the job? Who do you guys think should be the best for the job?
For Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So we know they are defensive identity, just like Baltimore. But that offense has been so bad. And your Band-Aid was Arthur Smith, The Steelers need a complete. I'm with Colin Cowherd on this one. They need a complete change. Go all offense for this next era of the Steelers and see how that goes for you. They need to be going at a Clint Kubiak.
No, that's like the Knicks when they had Mike D'Antoni. It just makes me cringe to even think.
No. I'm not saying you.
It doesn't fit.
I'm just saying, leadership wise, your head coach, go get one of these young offensive guys and let him find you a nasty defensive coordinator. But the leader nowadays needs to be offensive minded. That doesn't mean you can't have a good defense, but your leadership needs to be offensive minded moving forward because you've been so archaic.
I would bring Chris Schuler because then he could bring someone from the Sean McVay tree. Or I go Jesse Minter.
Or Jeff Hafley.
Jeff Hafley. Yeah. I would still go with my identity, but maybe not Minter because I don't know I wouldn't bring any offensive coordinator. We'll talk about Roman from the Harbaugh tree at all. I don't want any of those guys. So Schuler will probably be my number one guy because he's young enough and he could bring someone from that tree. Or like you said, Hafley from the Packers. That's what I would do if I'm there.
What you got?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Go offense, but we're so used to the defensive-minded Steelers, so that's probably the way they're gonna go. Which means they may look at a Flores or Salah as well. So that's the thing. It's basically going to be like, in my opinion, Ravens and Steelers are going to be competing even in the offseason, right? They compete on the fields, rivals on the fields. This offseason is going to mirror that too. Oh, tit for tat. You get the guy we want, then we're going for the next best thing, vice versa. So I won't be surprised.
And my concern is Flores has already been in that building, which can either be good or bad. It can either be, hey, I saw this and I know this isn't headed anywhere, or I'm familiar with this. I can take this job.
My only concern with it is that I think Salah and Robert Salah and Flores, they're built for more teams that are capable of winning now. I think Pittsburgh, you bring those guys in, you're saying, hey, we think we can still compete. I think you go show young that you have a guy you're building for the next 5-10 years, and you go someone who's in their 30s. That's what I would do because I believe that organization needs a rebuild, not a retool, a rebuild. There's two different things.
Rebuild. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a good team. Not a good team.
Agreed.
They've been winning on grit and stuff like that. And bravo to that. But they're not. I never look at Pittsburgh like when they're winning the divisions, and that's a Super Bowl contender. And that's the problem. You're just winning the division just to win it. A la Tampa Bay, a la the Panthers.
And barely winning it. You're winning it once every 3 years.
Exactly. So they're not really built for that.
Losing in the playoffs. Right. First game.
They need a rebuild.
All right. Now, Sean, you've been deferring to us for this start of the show.
Yes.
We're going to let you take the forefront here. And I'm going to help you.
Oh, yeah. We
got some friends in Philly here.
Yeah.
The Eagles have fired offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. Now, Nick Sirianni so soft that there's a chance Patullo remains with the organization in a different role, but he will not be OC again after a second one-and-done season in 3 years. The Eagles' lack of consistency is the most interesting storyline in the NFL right now. Sean, your thoughts? Because I think we're going to come to the same conclusion here, and it's not going to be all about Patullo.
No, it's not all about him. But like I said to you guys before show, that guy was stealing money. Like some of the plays, the lack of innovation, even the other, like some of these analysts on TV just be talking, but they always say they were in unison on different channels about how basic the offense was. They were like saying they was running high school plays. Yeah. They running high school plays with the defending Super Bowl championship team. Does not make sense. Why rinse? You should rinse and repeat. Take a lot of what Kellen Moore was doing and add it to your system. He was the worst offensive coordinator I've seen maybe ever in football, because that team was like, I don't think any of us are surprised what happened to them against San Francisco, because they wasn't a good team. They were just masked by a lot of talent in a bad division. So they won those games in a bad division and they're the defending champs. They could turn it on. No, because it's not about just Patullo. Sirianni deserves blame, because at the end of the day, this is what her fourth or fifth offensive coordinator. You got to take some responsibility for that. Like, you got to take some. I understand people go get head coaching jobs. That's fine. But why are the people below them? Because you keep elevating people from inside the organization are not ready to take the job. Because when Charlie Weiss was gone, there was Josh McDaniels in New England. And when Josh McDaniels was gone, it was the Penn State coach, Bill O'Brien, who took the over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, why you guys is not ready to take over and keep the same system in place that's won one Super Bowl and been to two out of the last three. It don't make sense.
What makes it worse, like I said, Flacco had his best year, and Harbaugh didn't keep anybody from Kubiak's system.
Exactly.
Right.
With the Eagles, Kellen Moore had that offense looking the best it ever has. And as Rashawn McCoy pointed out, and Eagles fans can get off his case, that was even Kellen Moore's offense. He had to bend and adjust that to Jalen Hurts' limitations.
Exactly.
We got to focus on that here. Jalen Hurts' limitations.
Yes.
So you don't keep somebody from that system. But what makes it worse for Sirianni is he is an offensive guy. So that's how many times has he been forced to give up play calling duties because he's bad at it.
Yeah.
You suck at what you specialize in.
That's what you got the job for, right?
Do I want you sticking around? Because there's always some locker room turmoil under you, and you stick at what you specialize in. And you can't even hire somebody to properly do the job for you. So do I want you around? If I have to strip you from the ability to even make your staff, you're offensive guy, but I'm going to tell you, you can't hire anybody on offense. I might as well get rid of you.
The thing is, we don't look at him. We don't look at. I gotta be honest. When I look at Sirianni and he's been to two out of the last three Super Bowls, I think it's a byproduct more of the talent and the roster.
That is a Howie Roseman.
Yes. I don't look at it. It's like he had. Let's see what he has lesser talent, because at some point you're gonna have to do that and win. But I don't look at it because he's a great head coach. I just don't. And call me wrong, but I look at
all you have to do is babysit that team.
Yeah, that's too much talent.
I say the same thing about the Eagles. I can name 15 coaches that can win a Super Bowl with that roster. Other than Sirianni, I can name 15 quarterbacks that can win a Super Bowl with that roster. Other than Jalen Hurts, they win in spite of that combination, not because of that combination.
Preach. I agree. 1,000% with that. 1,000%. And AJ Brown, I don't know what.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, no, my thought, just to chime in, I agree with everything you're saying. Jalen Hurts does not get enough scrutiny.
No, I mean, he doesn't get enough scrutiny.
He gets less scrutiny. He should get more scrutiny. We're so hard on a Dak Prescott because he doesn't win the big games, and Dak puts up numbers. So there's evidence.
And Sean, I got another one for you. How much does Jalen Hurts care about being the leader of his team? How much does he care about being the quarterback of his team? How much does he actually care about winning? You know what I mean? Because I mean, I got to see you with a corny press conference every week, wearing that nut-ass Kango like you in 80-something. You more worried about being 2025 Shamar Moore than mending your relationship with an all-pro receiver and A.J. Brown, who was the best receiver in football 2 short years ago.
He was.
How much do you care? You want some, you got everybody fawning over you because you listen to Anita Baker and Frankie Beverly. Dude, I listen to Anita Baker and Frankie Beverly. Ain't nothing special about them. Y'all see my playlist. What are we talking about with Jalen Hurts here? An average quarterback with zero substance to him. I don't know how he escapes so much scrutiny. Like, the play calling is always simple with him. I want you guys to really go watch film. Go watch the whole Eagles game. See how many times his eyes touch the whole field.
Exactly.
It's a lot of split read. It's a lot of split read with him. It is a lot of, hey, you got these 2 receivers on this side of the field, or you're throwing to your touch or to your check down offense with him. He gets babysat at the quarterback position. You're going to go on with it. And the reason
they don't even utilize RPOs.
Like, and the reason they're going to defend it so much and be so blind to it is because it's gotten them the Super Bowl. But I promise you, no, Carson, y'all quick to move on from Carson Wentz. He got you a bowl. Like, and y'all think that was because, oh, no, Nick Foles came in and did it. So any quarterback could. It's the same thing with Hurts. Any quarterback can come in and do what he does.
Yeah,
Any quarterback.
They were giving Shady McCoy hell because he was saying that Brock Purdy was better than Jalen Hurts. And I didn't see he is. I was like, there's nothing.
And Sean, you know what I love about my man's Brock Purdy though?
No question.
49ers then told the Eagles for the last 3 years, when Brock's healthy, y'all don't have anything for us.
No, you can't beat us.
Y'all got to the Super Bowl that because Brock was hurt when we played y'all. Wait till he's healthy. The 2 times since, Brock ain't lost to the Eagles yet.
Brock is better than him. And shout out to
and the 49ers were so void of talent this season.
Oh man, what they've done?
They're beat up.
Whole defense injured. Secondary. What Shannon Sharp used to say: 2 squeegees in a mop bucket in the secondary. And still won that game.
Like
you got boy. Oh man, that's called coaching.
Yes,
in circles around Sirianni.
Coaching. They got that in San Francisco.
Double T, coaching and culture. Yeah,
they have that in San Francisco. There's no doubt about that.
Now we got to go back to familiar territory. And not special on this one. 2 words: Greg Roman. I was shocked to see Jim Harbaugh got rid of him. I really was. I got one for y'all right here, and this is all I'm going to say because I've dedicated too much energy in my life to Greg Roman as is. He does not need to call plays in the NFL ever again. And shout out to the Chargers for getting rid of the O-line coach also. Somebody please finally do right by Justin Herbert because he has been dealt the worst coaches of any young talented quarterback that I've seen yet. Y'all can have the floor on this one.
Brian, go ahead.
Save maybe Trevor Lawrence, who struggled with his head coaches and coordinators his first few years. And once we got that fixed, you see the difference. But I agree. As far as Greg Roman's a football lifer, but lifers have a lifespan, and it's basically the end of that lifespan for him. He needs to head to the role of a special consultant if he really wants to stay around the game or get into the broadcasting realm, if that were something he desired to do. But I agree with you. Calling plays is not it for him anymore. It's been a surreal ride, fun ride. We thank you for your contributions, but time to move on.
I think that that was the obvious case. But also, I'm not absolving Justin Herbert for the play in the last 2 postseason games. It's been horrible. It's been horrible. So that Texans game, what was it, 5 interceptions last year? The Patriots game, he got beat up. He got hit 21 times. That offensive line was bad. The play calling was not innovative enough for him. So I get that. But at some point, I got to see the next step. So we can't keep just switching offensive coordinators and blame the off. Justin, if you're one of the guys that we think you are, we think the talent's there, I got to see you be better. And I can't keep getting an excuse. I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. But
Sean, it's coming up on the point where we have to start asking where we right about Justin Herbert.
Yes.
We spent so many years apologizing for what we initially thought of him.
Yeah.
It's starting to the point where we're like, hey, were we right?
Exactly.
At some point, you got to do something in spite of your situation, right? And Bo Nix in year 2 won that division, and you haven't come close to it yet. And your playoff exits have been nasty work.
Nasty. Yeah, great.
So it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, hey, were we actually right about Justin Herbert?
So honestly, for those top 3 guys, even Joe, I love Joe Burrow, but you gotta stay healthy. You gotta stop staying healthy. Like if you want to be in that corner, listen. After my personal opinion, Javon might be mad at me. There's Mahomes and there's Josh. Allen, and then you can put Lamar and Burrow in that second tier. And I'm going to start putting them in those tiers. And this is the reason. Josh got to get to the Super Bowl, first of all, but he's played better than that. I mean, he's healthy. You got to be healthy to play the quarterback position. And for some reason, those guys ain't healthy. Justin Herbert has been healthy, then he's not been healthy, and there's been offensive coordinator. At some point, we have to look at Justin Herbert. Greg Roman, yes, his time has passed. He should be a running game specialist coordinator for a team. They can hire him to do that.
If he stays in the NFL, he should be as a running back coach and running game coordinator.
That's
Other than that, he needs to be in college running the triple option somewhere.
Exactly. But other than that, that's my focus.
Right.
And Jim Harbaugh, he's a good coach. He's got that team playing tough. They just need some innovations, and they got to go get Herbert some weapons. But at some point, I've seen Brady win Super Bowls with no weapons. I'm not saying you need to win Super Bowls, but you got to play better in big games, and he hasn't played good in big games. So those three, in Tua, Herbert, and Burrow, from that quarterback class, there's questions on those guys.
Oh, ain't even a question on Tua.
Agreed.
It's just out. The verdict's just out. Sorry.
I agree. I can't.
Well, he's an Alabama coach, and name me an Alabama coach that you really are excited about in the NFL right now. Bryce Young's up and coming, but he's got his deficiencies. Yeah. Bryce Young, Tua, Hurts, all three came out of Alabama, winning culture, winning situations, but they're overrated. It's equivalent to Duke big men back in the day, or Duke's guards back in the day. They shine at the collegiate level, but they don't produce at the next level. So
shout out to Bryce for getting that 50-year extension. I still think the verdict is out on him. I gotta be honest. He's just really small, man. That's a small guy. I don't know if I could believe in that.
Yeah.
I just don't. Giving him $200 million, I don't know.
I love what I saw in 2 games against the Rams, though.
I did.
And Jimmy Horn, catch the damn ball. Catch the ball, man.
Yeah.
But
so you liked enough for you to give him sign him to the Tua deal in a year, because you got that's the going rate.
I ain't gonna go that far yet. My thing is he can come back next year, because what's going on with this quarterback class?
No, he deserves.
Y'all just said the Alabama quarterbacks. Yeah, it's another one coming out this year, and he's done for it. Because he ain't ready for the NFL.
He's not ready.
You could have got $6.5 million to be chilling in South Beach with the team that Cristobal has built. Boy, my feet would have been kicked up. Hey, which one of y'all Calendar twins just kicked Carson back to the side? Yeah, I'm ready to come back right for you. You can be my little piece for the year. You crazy.
He's
the top bugging out.
And the thing is, Ron, is he'll be a top 10 pick, top 20, first rounder next year. So why not to cash in? And
he's going to get somebody fired.
Yo, there's no way I'm taking him. I'm not taking any of these quarterbacks.
Him and Dante Moore are going to get somebody fired. Dante, hey, Ty Simpson turned down that $6.5 million for Miami. Oregon already brought in Dylan Raiola. Hey, you need to call your agent, tell him to get on the phone with the folks down at Coral Gables and see if that $6.5 million is available for you, my brother. Because you ain't ready for the NFL either.
None of those guys.
And Trinidad Chambers. You don't need to be trying to get an extra year. You are the second best quarterback in this draft.
Easily.
No.
Why are you getting 6 years? I'm like, go to the NFL. He could play in the NFL. I'm not saying that he's going to be a star right away. I think he needs some development, but he has the potential to play in the league. Reminds me of like a young Russell Wilson in the right system, in the competitive fire he showed me. You could be a late first rounder, even a second rounder of this draft. But why are you fighting for 6 years? Come on. I don't.
You know what I liked about him the most, though, Sean? He showed me he's not a Lane Kiffin quarterback.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm.
And that's because Lane Kiffin does not run stuff to get you to the NFL. He runs stuff for him to win in college. He does not run stuff to get you to the NFL. Trinidad Chambers was out there looking like an NFL quarterback.
He looked amazing. I was very impressed in this round.
I like him more than I like Jackson Dart. So do with that information what you will. Yeah. Trinidad, you do not need that extra year. If you go to the Senior Bowl and you do what we know you can do in practice, and you go to the combine and do your thing and interview well, I promise you can move up to number 2 on people's on the boards, man.
Yeah, don't go back to school. Oh, stop fighting for that. Like for 6 years, I think it's got to be capped at 5. if injuries happens, things that life happens, man.
You had 5 years to play, man. And if you
Yeah,
wind up playing 5 years, hey, that's good. Like, no, you don't have 5 years to play forward. You just had 5 years, period.
Okay, I think that's fine. Just do that. But all the 6, 7, go play in the league. I just don't get that. At some point, stop fighting it. You had a great Cinderella. I don't know what's called a Cinderella run. That was a good team, and you lost. Go to the NFL. That's it.
Simple. Sean. Shamet before be next on the chopping block. Because if the playoffs had not expanded, this would be 3 straight years of missing the playoffs. And that blown lead was hardball material.
Yeah. Too much talent. They had from that, was it 2 years ago when they faced San Francisco in the divisional round? And I'm like, oh, that team's up next. They got the young talent. The last couple of years have been a young team, and I just don't feel like the next step has been taken. So yeah, I will move on. The only thing about everybody moving on, do you think there's a lot of great coaching candidates out in this cycle? I don't. And so you moving on from him. Maybe you elevate the defensive coordinator to the head coach job, Hafley, but I just don't think it's a lot of great candidates this time around.
I don't see, again, that's that being afraid stuff I was talking about earlier. It ain't about what's out there. It's about what isn't cutting it for you. And Matt LaFleur is not cutting it.
No, he's not.
The Packers are not supposed to be 9 wins in the 7th seed every year.
No.
And you know, in Green Bay, it's time for things to change when you're losing to the Bears in the playoffs. And when you're choking away a lead like that. Because the Packers have owned the Bears my entire life. And you just lost the playoff game to them in a game which you dominated the first half. Dominated.
You're right.
And I texted y'all, speaking of scariness, them being scared to go for that 4th and 2 at midfield and punting it, that was the game right there. You gave the Bears all they needed. Oh, yeah, they scared. They think we're about to mount a comeback. Well, let's go do it. I texted y'all during the Jacksonville game. That 4th down that Trevor Lawrence didn't get before that play. I said, if they kick a field goal right here, game's over. And that's early in the 2nd quarter. Like, no, don't be scared. Go get it. It was the right play call. Trevor Lawrence just messed up going down too early. And Trevor Lawrence has learned a very valuable lesson this year, by the way. The playoff, this thin of a margin. It comes down to this thin of a margin. It's that small. 2 plays change that whole game for Trevor Lawrence. He'll be better off for it. But my thing with Green Bay is like it's not cutting it. It's just not. Yeah. And I think Jordan Love's part of the problem. Way too inconsistent for my liking. But like again, you've got some coaching malpractice going on too, LaFleur. Because you got after Harbaugh, you're 2nd in the blown leads category.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you can't lose a game like that in the postseason on the road. That way. Maybe it's time, and maybe a Davis Webb or I like. You're right. You can't be scared because Rashadi found Harbaugh 18 years ago, a diamond in the rough, right? You can find those diamond in the rough. You just got. It's just people need opportunities, so I can't be mad about them moving on from LaFleur. Too much talent, very disappointing. They shouldn't have lost to Chicago, and that's just kind of what it is. And I don't know what improvements you can make. With that roster. That roster is a Super Bowl level of roster.
And Green Bay, listen, they're the same conversation as Baltimore and Detroit. Those are 3 teams that were supposed to compete for the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. 2 of them missed the playoffs and 1 were running them.
Yep. Good point.
So, if the Ravens made changes, the Lions made changes, and we're going to get into them soon, y'all need to be making changes in Green Bay. Not working on an extension.
Can't keep the status quo. Brian, what you got with this?
Yeah, I've been under for some time now. Same thing. He's kind of riding the piggy what McCarthy did before him, and he's never really shown anything. You know, you
service is tough today.
Yeah, man. But I'm glad you brought up McCarthy because you were brought in to get the team over the hump. Sean, we're being honest, their playoff issues really, really got bad once the four took over. Because Rodgers just kept getting whooped in the second game of the playoffs. Either they get a bye, win the divisional round, and no show in the conference championship, or playing the wild card round and losing the divisional. But they got the same issue the Ravens had. They can't win 2 playoff games in the same season since the four got there. And then once Rodgers left, they can't win unless they're playing the Cowboys.
Do you guys think that?
Right.
And if I gotta be honest, if I'm Marcus Freeman, the Ravens, Steelers, and if the Packers become open, I might have to take one of those jobs. Those are really. I wouldn't take Pittsburgh, but Baltimore or Green Bay, and I could be there for the next 15, 20 years. And you know he's not going to be in Notre Dame for the next 15, 20 years. It's clearly written on the board that he's going to be in the NFL in the next 5 years.
I think Freeman needs a young team, though.
Freeman's the youngest team.
Youngest head coach, so he needs a young team.
Green Bay's ahead of schedule. Green Bay's the youngest team.
Leader of men, so I agree. Yeah, he needs to.
So he can take Green Bay. That's cool.
Good team that alphas.
Probably not Baltimore. Green Bay would be probably the job I would take if I was him.
Yeah, and I mean he's a defensive guy. That defense has talent on it. That they can instantly become top 3 defense in the NFC. So
yeah, because I just think if your goal is to be in if it's written on the wall, you're going to be in the NFL. I'd rather take a legacy job if I'm going to leave Notre Dame. I'm not leaving the NFL to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. No offense to Jacksonville, they did a good job in what Leon Cohen did. But it's different between being a Jacksonville Jaguar head coach or Tennessee Titans head coach than being a Green Bay Packers head coach. If I'm
it ain't too far of a trip either from South Bend to Green Bay. So
exactly. I would.
You ain't with your family, but so far.
Exactly. I would.
No, that's true.
That's right up the highway, actually. All right. In DC, the Commanders, who just had terrible Jayden Daniels injury luck, overreacted and fired both of their coordinators.
That showed that team was a byproduct of an easy schedule last year. We all said it. Yeah, we said it.
Came on this show for the schedule release and said they were too far ahead of schedule and having to play that second place schedule this year, on top of not adding any improvements in the offseason, was going to result in the mid-playoff run. And we had folks calling us crazy. Now look, with or without Jayden Daniels, that team was missing the playoffs. They had the worst offseason of any team last year. They did not add anything. They thought they were actually a good team. No, you played no one. And you remember the Kingsbury, who had that good of a year with Daniels and Dan Quinn, you're the defensive guy. Firing the defense coordinator ain't doing nothing because it's still your defense.
You're calling the plays, right? It don't make sense what the Commanders are doing. Ryan, I saw you got to jump off. You got anything to say about this real quick?
Yeah, man. There's I want their talent. That's the biggest thing. You can fire coordinators, but you've got to hit the home run in the draft, and then once or twice with a draft will start to bring free agents that way who with Daniels. But until then, as far as I'm concerned, everyone else is going to get better, and they're lagging behind as far as talent goes, and depth. So,
yeah, it's just too much. I don't know where that team is. First of all, Debo. You know how they say the grass is not green on the other side? I know you wanted to be out of San Francisco, but
boy, is it, man.
Leaving Shanahan to I don't know. Verdict's still out. It just didn't work out.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Washington probably has. Looking at future outlook, not even that. Let's treat this like this is college.
Yep.
And you're ranking the best jobs because that's what we do in college. We rank the best job. That's probably the worst job in that division right now.
I would take the Giants over them. I would take the Eagles over them, and I would definitely take the Cowboys over them. Yeah.
That's the worst job in the division right now.
Yeah.
And that's because of the roster.
Yeah, the roster's old too. they want in this year saying, hey, we win the NFC championships, we're just one step away. No, it was like the Atlanta Hawks. Remember a couple years ago when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks? They were like, hey, we're gonna go in. It's like, no, that was fool's gold because of the situation. Shout out to them going to Detroit and beating them, but it was fool's gold. They're not really as close as they think they are. They need a little retool. And Jaden Daniels, I gotta say this because I see with CJ Stroud. I'm really getting so concerned with these quarterbacks coming out because of they might have one good year, but we're talking about 15, 20 years of consistency. And I'm worried about Daniels. I do think he's really small. And it's kind of the same thing about Bryce Young. I don't know about
weight.
He needs to put weight on.
He's not super small height-wise, but muscle-wise.
Muscle-wise, he's small. They're small guys. You got to put the weight on. And that's my concern about him long-term in the NFL.
Let's see. What else do we have? Detroit, one and done Morton. Dan Campbell took over the play calling, and they fixed things at the end of the season. This is one change I'm actually supportive of. They're just a disconnect. They got to figure out the defensive coordinator thing, though, if you ask me. Offensively, they're going to be fine as long as Campbell's there. He's got to get a little more smart in terms of when he gambles. But, again, Aaron Glenn underachieved there. What they had this year, I thought was underachieving. And Aaron Glenn should have been one and done in Detroit, by the way. We've got to.
Yeah.
We got to stop this.
Yeah. In New York. I think that I saw that Mike McDaniel interview for the job for the offensive coordinator for the Lions. I would not be mad about that. He couldn't coach offense. And I think that team, they lost. First of all, Campbell needs to stop going for every freaking fourth down. I think he was off this year with that. You can't do that all the time. That's bad strategy. Switch it up a little bit. But also, I think that team is so talented offensively. That's the engine of their team. They need to get back to be creative. They lost some of the creativity. At the end of the year, Campbell needs to be able to coach the whole team, not just the offense. That's what I think.
All right. Oh, who's winning this weekend? National championship.
I agree. You can't take credit for when it's good. And championship game, I am going with the Indiana Hoosiers. They are a juggernaut to be reckoned with. Miami has a fighting chance, but I really don't see it. They're Indiana's a well-oiled machine, well-coached. And Mendoza is the Joe Montana of this quarterback group.
Wow. High praise.
As far as, and I just mean he's got all the tools. He's just in control. As far as the playoffs go, I think we ran through our picks last week, Sean. I can't remember what my record was, but I'm holding pat because most of mine fell into place. You, I think, picked the Packers, and I think I picked the Packers over the Bears. I think that was the only one that I suffered on.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think I held true to form. This week, so you've got the 1 seeds playing. I think Seattle will win, and I think Denver will probably pull it out as well.
Okay.
I went 4-2 last week. I had the 49ers wrong, and I had the Bills wrong. This week, I'm taking Miami plus 8.5. They're not losing by 2 possessions in that game.
No.
I'm taking the Broncos straight up.
Wow.
I'm taking the Seahawks to cover that 7.5 because I'll be honest with you, Kyle Shanahan has not proven he has anything for Mike McDonald. And this is going back to Christmas Day 2023 when Mike was calling plays for Baltimore. Kyle Shanahan hates Mike McDonald's defense. So I'll take Seattle 7.5. I'll take the Patriots. You know what? As bad as that game Sunday night was, and as nasty as that Houston defense was,
oof.
Give me Houston on the upset.
Yeah.
At Gillette Stadium.
Yep.
And
wow.
You know what? Sunday I'm going back-to-back upsets. Give me the Bears. to get
Wow.
the Rams up out of it. Yeah, I don't like what I've seen from the Rams this last month and a half, bro. They're not good football.
No, it hasn't been good football. Well, and my predictions last week were,
Agreed.
Brian, I said that it was going to be the Texans, Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. I'm sticking with that. Actually, fellas, I came back to bet in this week. My boy said putting in bets for FanDuel for me back home, and I won $100. I bet against the Eagles, and I bet it Buffalo to win the game. So Buffalo, Texans, the AFC Championship game, and then the Rams, Seahawks in the NFC Championship game.
Sean, you want to hear some gambling heartbreak?
What?
When Green Bay was up 26-9 or 21-6, whatever it was, I texted my homeboy that's up in Chicago. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think about the live bet y'all to win. And for some reason I didn't. The odds when I said the live bet were at plus 1,400.
Oh gosh.
Oh man. And then last night I had a college parlay and I had to cash out because everything was going to hit. You want to guess what failed for me last night?
Kansas, Iowa State.
Undefeated Iowa State against inconsistent Kansas. And they went down to Manhattan. Not Manhattan. They went down to Lawrence and got shellacked.
Embarrassed.
I mean, the Jayhawks are so different with a healthy Darren Peterson.
Oh, that's my number one pick, by the way. We're going to have to discuss that, but that's my number one pick. That kid is the way he could shoot the basketball.
Facts.
And play.
And he almost had the dunk of the year last night, too.
That kid's the number one. I love AJ, but that's the number one pick in the draft for me.
And speaking of dunks, this is for the whole Big Ten and then for every team in the tournament because Michigan State's going to traffic. Stop letting Cohen Carr leave the ground. Grab him, flagrant foul him, treat him like the Pistons Mike. Once he gets his dunk, it's over. His team get hyped, and the crowd gets even more hyped, and it's over with. It's too much emotion to overcome. Somebody's got to volunteer to take him out the air. Stop letting Cohen Carr dunk because it's that special when he leaves the ground. He tears the rim down and puts a new one back up there. Stop letting him dunk the basketball. It's too much to overcome. That's all I got.
Yeah. And one last thing. I'm going with you guys. Indiana beats Miami, but the game's going to be closer. Everybody's thinking it's going to be a blowout. That Miami defensive line and offensive line is really good. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a competitive game. I hope.
That game's going to be Fernando Mendoza is going to make more plays than Carson Beck. He's going to commit fewer turnovers than Carson Beck.
In his hometown, they win the national championship, which will be great.
It's going to be hard for Miami because that game's in Miami.
It's in Miami. Oh, you lose in Miami? Woo.
Yeah, that's a heartbreak.
That's a hard. Remember the Super Bowl? Tampa won in their hometown. The Rams won in their hometown. It's hard to lose in your hometown.
EMTs will be on standby for
Michael Irvin.
EMTs will be on standby for Michael Irvin.
Yes, facts. That dude's gonna show out. But yeah, that's all I got. So great weekend of sports coming up.
All right. Well, we will be back either tomorrow or Friday because we've got some basketball to talk and some baseball. So enjoy your Wednesday, halfway through the week. We'll see you.
Peace.